Hello everyone and welcome back to the Fireside Writing Advice stream. I am your host, Remy McNeil, and joining me as always is the immortal Mollie Rhymemaster. Mollie, how are you doing today?
I've been once again whisked away to a secondary location, and of course I forgot my microphone and my webcam, so you guys are getting a phone stream.
Yes, and we're going to be working around that little hiccup just fine, I imagine. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we will.
Miles Saxon, hello. Rip Raven, hello. Corten, hi, how's it going? All right. Well, it has been a little while since we've done this, hasn't it? Between Phoenix Wright, the zombie, the Resident Evil streams, the writing stream, we've been all over the place. We've all had different conflicting things going on, but you know what? We're back to it, and I'm excited to see this because it took us a while, but we actually got 5 submissions, I want to say.
Yeah.
And we were excited for that. Because, we hadn't actually gotten many submissions until, I think, this week. I think we got 3 of the submissions this week. Until then, we only had Anime AK and Mupa submissions.
Yeah, but we also got Poncho and Paste Ben on the lineup.
Oh, I mean, until this week. Because people were confused, and I'm really glad to finally get to this stream, because people were confused on when it was going to happen, and I feel so bad for, leading people on. We just had conflicting schedules, and, it really was just a mess. But now we're here. We're ready to review the prompt, which was an inhuman creature or thing in a human environment trying to adapt. Which is, the rough prompt. And I'm excited to see what people have done with
This desk is,
that.
new to me, so I'm looking through its
Let me know if you find anything
hilarious. Look at this
hilarious.
journal. It's so nice.
Oh, that is a nice journal.
It's empty, too. There's nothing in it.
Steal it.
What should I use it for?
I
already have empty journals.
Keeping track of... use it to keep track of how many empty journals you've stolen.
It's a good idea.
I love journals, but at the same time, I never use them. I feel really guilty about that. I should probably if I go do not disturb. Oh, that is not how that's supposed to work. There we go. That was weird. Why would it kick me out from the call like that? It's strange. Anyway, I just wanted to make sure I didn't get any pop notifications. So Mollie is experiencing the writing prompt IRL. What? Ingredients. Yannies, are you about to drop a hot recipe on us? Because quite frankly, I could go for a hot recipe right now. I'm actually kind of hungry. And I'm not going to have dinner until 3 hours from now. Anyway.
I could teach you guys how to make my cowboy mac and...
Ooh, that does sound good. What's in it? What's in your cowboy mac and cheese?
Pepper jack cheese, spices, and black beans.
Black beans, interesting. Never had mac and cheese that had beans in it.
Yeah, also, it's chipotle mayo.
Okay, I'm gonna have to put a hard break on that one. I hate mayo.
It's not chipotle mayo. What's it called?
Just
like a sauce.
Chipotle sauce?
No, because it's not the chipotle sauce. It's mixed. I guess it is mixed.
I have 20 plus commonplace books that you archive on the reg. Having a journal but not using them reminds me of middle school when they gave us a journal but no one ever used it. Yeah, oh god, do you remember? Did you ever get those? What are they called? They don't have they're not spiral or anything. They're composite. Is it a composite journal?
Yes, they were impossible to write in.
They were impossible. Yeah, because the just the way it flattened out was terrible. And I just hated those things with a passion. I give a strawberry cream cake recipe. I know, but the list isn't on me. Don't let Hijikata hear you say that you hate mayo. Who is
I don't know who that is.
Who's Hijikata?
Gonna look that up.
In a journal, but not using it. it also, I didn't learn until, like, 'cause I never really understood what mayo was. I just knew it was a weird, creamy substance that, like...
Are you referring to Hijikata Toshizo, who resisted the Meiji Restoration? I don't think it's that guy. I think it's the guy from Gintama. That sounds a lot more.
It probably is. But all I knew about mayo was that it didn't taste very good to me. It was creamy white, and everyone used it as a substitute for, like, for sexy times, for jokes. You know, oh yeah, they spilled some mayo over there, blah, 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 blah. That's all I knew about mayo. And then I learned, oh, it's made out of eggs by watching a Let's Play of frickin', not Harvest Moon. What's the indie one?
Stardew Valley.
Stardew Valley. I was like, wait, it's made out of eggs? And yeah, it's apparently, I guess it's made out of eggs. I never knew that.
Mm-hmm.
Watch Gintama, he's based on him. I mean, okay. I mean, I just don't like mayo. I don't like the taste of it. I am a mustard man, if that tells you anything. I love mustard. Miracle Whip all the way. I can't even say.
All right, enough condiment talk.
Well, I just wanted to give people time to kind of settle in, kind of open, soft. But yes, it has been a while, so we should probably get into this. So our first submission, if you can tell by the formatting, and this is not an insult. This is just, it's kind of his quirk. He does the Halo dating type setup. Anime AK sent us Walls Torn Down, which yeah, that's been seen in the inbox for a while now, and he was getting kind of antsy last stream. Oh, Gumi! What character did I see that was surrounded by Gumi? Oh, that's right. It was Chris Yukine from Symphogear, and I was like really happy to see that. It was really cute. Did I send that to you, Floof? If Floof is watching, probably isn't watching right now. 5 Krabby Patties versus the Chad Mustard, or the Virgin Mayo versus the Chad Mustard. 5 Krabby, hold the mayonnaise. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. So with the writing prompts go Anime AK, go Mupa, then I think is it William is next, and then after that is Poncho, then Pacepen?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Do you want to take it in that order, like me, you? Or
sure.
Yeah. Okay. Tower Walls, Last City, December 23rd, 799 ATC, after the collapse. Okay. Okay, so just brief comment. Would you either avoid using the parenthetical? I would avoid using the parenthetical in that kind of, like, title opening. What do you think?
What do you... I mean, it sets it up, so you just know, like, if this was the first thing. Although you could save it for later, and that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, it's either you use just I would either just use ATC, or I would use after the collapse. I mean, it has a stylistic preference. Frederick looked forward from his outpost, or rather tried. The room within the viewing sector was taken over by a hulking mass of armor and bone. Its colors were red and black, signifying that it was from the disgraced Red Legion. A legionary rank due to its armor configuration, thanks to having slaughtered many of them during the City Age, as well as the Red War.
What?
I think that's like one of those, because he does that thing where he puts periods instead of commas.
Oh yeah.
So I think it's supposed to be lowercase, and then I think you don't want to, unless the legionary itself is a proper noun, you don't want to capitalize it. It's a legionary.
It might be like it's the Legion. Like I don't know. I haven't played the games that he. It might be.
Yeah. It stood up straight, or as best it could due to the low-hanging ceiling on the outpost. Its slug rifle resting against its right shoulder, as if a sentry guarding the Tomb of the Unknown during the pre-Golden Age. Even for Titan Glass... okay, that sentence... You kind of do a lot of word jumbling, and it's not... Like, this is... You can make sense of it, but a lot of this kind of just blurs together into kind of a mush the way you're structuring it. I'm trying to think of how like I would best word this. I mean, it's again stylistically, it's a stylistic choice, but it's one that kind of irks me. Like I'm not. It's not very pleasant for me to read already. Even for Titan class guardians who are trained as soldiers, this was too strict and disciplined for an alien soldier, which made Frederick a little uncomfortable. I think it's Destiny fic, yeah.
Okay.
The only good mustard is from Sword and Shield. I actually didn't like him. The only person worth it in that section was Clara. Clara is ace. I don't mean like asexual.
Clara overdoses on Ken.
Oh, I wrote that fic.
That's my new fan game.
I mean, I wrote the fanfic where she overdoses on cocaine.
I know. I think it needs a video game adaptation.
But then again, the Cabal's version of discipline was more for show. Ceremony would probably be a better term for the flashy display of servitude in the Grand Army. So what's your name? The Titan asked, trying to ease the uncomfortable silence between himself and the former genocidal space turtle. Yet the legionary said nothing, only standing as still as it could at the post. Trying to ease the uncomfortable silence between himself and the former genocide. Oh, I think... Is this the Titan? Is this referencing the Titan? Because what this should be is then, comma, lowercase s, trying to ease it. Because like that sentence alone, just trying to ease, and then you don't have anything describing what it is he's trying to do in order to ease it. Like you're not.
Also, I want to. I've been watching some game. You know the game Yick by 2K?
No.
Do you know what Yick syndrome is in writing, or like what I call like I've explained to you that before?
No, I
so
haven't.
Like the writing in Yick is very, very repetitive. So like a famous line is it's like the elevator shook, vibrating with motion. That's like the infamous. It's very like jumbled and kind of emotionless, and I think he has a bit of Yick syndrome, like.
I mean, like he's not terrible. There are things here that I like. I like once you correct that issue, the idea of the Titan asked, trying to ease the uncomfortable silence between himself and.
No, that's a good sentence. I'm just thinking about the other things, like.
Yet the legionary said nothing, only standing as still as it could at its post. I mean, that's all I see. But then again, the Cabal's version of discipline was more for show. Ceremony would probably be a better term for the flashy display of. Yeah, okay, that sentence. Ceremony would probably be a better term for the flashy display of servitude in their Grand Army. They give a lot of that stuff is just kind of filler. It feels a little bit like filler.
Yeah, that's more what I'm for.
Well, guess I'm going to be talking again. I guess.
Also, girlfriend in chat. Send frogs.
Send frogs
to @Mollie.
Frog friend in chat. Girl frog in chat. Well, guess.
I was talking with. I'm sorry, I have to tell the story. I was on a call with Sarah last night, and she's like, I was talking with a coworker who's getting married soon. Said that some wedding venues only have a minimum, like they have a minimum for guests. So if I got married at one of those places, I'd invite every frog I know. And I'm like, you know frogs personally? She goes, I will.
Your girlfriend is adorable.
It really is.
Well, guess I'm doing all the talking again. You don't need to capitalize the guess. You can lowercase that. Amaranth. Amunorath.
A Monorath.
So this guy is obviously into Twitch streamers turned OnlyFans celebrities.
I don't get it.
I
don't watch.
I only know that because like there's a whole tiff right now about her, but like she's apparently one of those like boob streamers on Twitch is named Amaranth. A guttural sound of a helmet mic scratched the Titan's ear. I don't think that's a guttural sound. I think that's an improper word choice. The screech of a headset.
Guttural means like it's coming from like the chest.
Yeah, it's a. it's like that kind of like. Think of like all the weird noises your stomach makes. That's like a guttural. It's literally the sounds of your guts. I don't know if like a helmet mic. I don't know if a helmet mic would produce that sound. Scratchy is definitely, you're more on point with scratchy. You could be more on point with distorted, shredded.
A monorath. A monorath.
A monorath.
What there's.
Yeah. Oh, you do talk. Isn't that the name of one of your commanders? The creature spoke again in its tongue, all the while maintaining its groomed, natural stance. Sometimes mothers would name us after our heroes of our great empire. However, those names have been souring over the last century. The Titan nods in reply. Ever think of home? Home? Yeah, home. You know, a place to rest or raise a family. Do you have one? A home planet, perhaps? The legionary was silent, and was silent and still, like a 2x4 that one would get at Home Depot. All right, hard stop. That's a breaking of the fourth wall. You might not think it is, but it's a breaking of the fourth wall, because do they even have a reference point for Home Depot in Destiny? It's so far in the future, does Home Depot even exist anymore? Do 2x4s even really exist?
It's also like, it's a very comedic comparison, but I don't think that's what you're going for here, which is an issue.
That sound fits the Cabal to a T. Okay, so it might be a lore thing that we don't know about, the guttural sound. It might be like the Cabal might have like a guttural sound to their equipment. 'Cause that's like a race or something like that, or like a faction. But yeah, the 2x4. Just say the legionary was silent. It was still in silent, like a. This was like.
Don't even put in the metaphor. Just it stood still in silence.
I mean, yeah, that could work. I do like metaphors. I'm not too super down on them myself. The legionary was still in silent. Semicolon. This was like talking to a plank of wood. It creates commentary upon the character about who's speaking. However, the Titan saw tears, or some form of liquid ran down its faceplate, though it could have been because the pressure oil heated too much on the inside. I haven't seen the carrier in centuries, nor our glorious homeworld of Tora Batil after the hive burnt it to the ground. The silence permeated for a bit. Sorry, I asked. Don't be. I can already tell that we are the same in small ways. This is kind of showing your hand. So far this has actually been really good. There's been a few issues I've had, but
it's improvement, yeah.
Yeah, this is improvement. This is showing your hand. This is like, we're not so different, you and I. It's like you don't tell the audience that, you show the audience that, and that's the biggest sin of a lot of writing, is that you're just telling us that this is how to be absorbed. The Titan chuckled a little at that. Yeah, the darkness agents consuming our worlds, leaving us in a dilapidated state. Hell of a coincidence. I mean, you're rolling with it a little bit better, at the very least. You're following up with not a terrible line. It's a little clunky, though. The legionary started to show signs of fatigue by staying in that stance. Please sit. You don't have to be on your feet like that all shift. The oversized turtle sat down, peacefully putting its rifle on its maglock pack to keep it in place. I don't know if you need like that detail, the maglock pack. It's a little too much. 2x4 would exist.
If it makes it like you have to kind of sacrifice detail sometimes if it makes your sentence clunky.
Yeah.
Which I think a lot of people struggle with. They're like, oh, this needs to be described. You need to know this thing is made of whatever, but we kind of don't, unless it's like extremely crucial.
Make a whole new sentence.
If it's
like, if you really need it, If you really want to describe it, make a whole new sentence. Like, where was it? Where is that line? The oversized turtle sat down, carefully pointing its rifle on its pack to keep it in place. And then, like you could have I mean, I would probably just do a comma. I would just do a comma, new clause, like the maglocks holding it virtually motionless, or something like that. Like, just some kind of, like, you can. It's clunky to have it all in one spot. You either need to trim it down or spread it out. Either way, you're having too much in one point. Are you always like this? So casual with former enemies? We're in an alliance now. No need to hold on to past grudges. Though you guys still owe me a new weapons foundry. Fredericks jokes. Frederick jokes. You want a comma there? The legionary nods. I see. Tell me, do you have children? Fredericks nods. Yes, I had 2 children. One was a great speaker and scientist. The other was a cunning warrior. Now I have one on the way. This time I'll be there for when my wife gives birth. You said had for the former 2. What happened to them, if I may ask? Dead. Jeremiah by Orcs. Oryx? The Taken King. Nehemiah to a House Devils raiding party. I see. I can't imagine the sorrow you felt. Hopefully you won't have to.
It's Nehemiah.
What?
Jeremiah and...
What was that?
How did you say that name?
Oh, Nehemiah.
Nehemiah. Or Nehemiah, I think is...
Where was I? Hopefully you won't have to. I don't see myself finding a maid. I thought the same at first. Then I met my wife. You'll find a lover someday. Perhaps. The silence grew for hours in their watch after that. That's just an awkward sentence. The silence commanded their watch after that. The hours ticking by. That something like that would probably be a lot more smooth. Though the curious Titan looked to Amunroth with a final question in mind. You gotta stop doing. You're trying to like make these small sentence fragments. You're really bad with sentence fragments, man. You gotta shape up on those.
I think he's trying to get this like stylistic tone in there, but it's not how humans talk. You have to like listen to that out loud and think, is this how someone would parse up a sentence?
Yeah, remember, you're not the one reading this. Other people are, and understanding how people read is the key to understanding how writing flows. It's why, like, as much as I love the Tanya the Evil books, I haven't picked up, like, or I've stopped reading halfway through, or a fraction of the way through the 4th volume, just because it's very hard on my eyes to read it, because it's really weirdly structured between the translation and just the way it's naturally written. It's a very curious series of novels. Does your legion have a war song? War song? Yeah, the dust giants, sand eaters, and siege dancers, etc. If someone's saying it, you don't shorten it. Etc. I don't know if I have ever spelled etc. But you actually have him say etc. Dancers, etc. have a war song. Have war songs specifically for their legions. Does the Red Legion have one? The legionary nodded after thinking for a moment. We do, but it is taught to all the legions, to remind us of our home and our battle brothers. Can you sing it? I guess, but my helmet comms isn't the best for the experience. I don't mind.
May I see it? No.
Okay, here it goes. Proceeds to sing Vode on. Okay. Again,
Don't.
Cut the parentheses. I would recommend describing the sound of the song. Like is it a low pitched and rumbling sound? Is it high pitched and scratchy? Is it melodic? Is it staccato? Is it punchy and energetic? Is it morose and slow. There's so many different ways to describe how music is without actually needing to write down the lyrics or without actually needing to listen to it. You don't need this just proceeds to sing vote on. You can just
That's just don't do that. Like, don't just put in like stage directions in your prose.
Yeah, this is not a stage play. That was beautiful. What does it mean? Vote on. It means brothers all in your tongue. I see. We've gotten we got an hour or so more of our shift. Why not teach me how to sing it? If you wish, all right. Who is printing? A moment. I'm going to make sure this stops happening.
I've been drawing salamanders. My second favorite, besides Rayquaza. This is now an art stream.
Oh, that's a good salamence. Yeah, you actually have a pretty decent sense of art. I could never do art that good.
I drew a lot when I was younger. I can't show you because I'm not in my bedroom, but I used to draw these like I tried to make them like realistic photo drawings of my favorite base. That was like back when I was 14. I haven't done much, but I think if I practice, I could kind of get back to that point.
Well, I'm glad you can't hear the printer, but at the same time, I feel annoyed by it. And so I don't worry, I've made sure it stopped. I say as it's making noises again. Okay, good, it stopped, I think. I hope. Knock on wood. And so for the rest of the hour, the Legionary taught the human Titan to sing the Red Legion war song. They sang together for the rest of the night, and the walls of the last city started to join in chorus. The hive within the cosmodrome of old Russia feared its hallowed city. Okay. So it's definitely an improvement.
That was good improvement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like
He's.
There you go.
No, I say like we've been seeing like he kind of regressed a bit when he started doing those sentence fragments, but I think overall we've seen pretty great general improvement from.
Yeah. This is some good good growth here. I do appreciate there wasn't a lot of hand holding in here, and that's actually very easy to do. And this might just be this might be the opposite problem. Honestly, this might be the opposite of the hand holding problem, where you just assume everyone knows what you're talking about. I was kind of lost in this. I was honestly kind of lost, but I
wonder if you have to remember I don't know, like I can't speak for Raymond personally. I've never played Destiny, I've never played Halo. My Star Wars knowledge is limited to the main movies and Clone Wars. So we don't know a lot of this lore. You might have to write it like it's for a general audience, not like it's for a fan.
Right. Movement did make a good point that "and so" is a pretty weak way to start a sentence. I disagree.
It is.
I actually disagree. I think it depending on the type of story. Now, for this type of story, I would agree that it probably is the weaker one. But the idea of ending something kind of epic, or something with the "and so," and it's sort of you can make it like a heroic proclamation sort of deal. You can.
It has to be the right type of narration.
Yeah, it has to be the right kind of voice.
It has to be that it can't be part of kind of more casual prose because it feels a lot bigger than it. Yeah. It's kind of like tone consistency in music writing. You can't just throw in you have to keep that narration tone because you always like to think of a story as though somebody is telling it to you, not like your free textbook.
Yeah, and the thing is, you can just easily just say "for the rest of the hour." You don't need the conclusory feel to it. You just need the "for the rest of the hour." The Legionary taught the human doing that smooths it right out, and it's wonderful. But that's a little more advanced what we're trying to get at. Yeah, but you weren't hand holdy, which I appreciate. You could probably have done with a little hand holding, kind of. You did a little bit of it. You needed a little bit more, I think, but like describing what this guy looks like and all that such, that was not a terrible idea. That was actually pretty strong. The way you got out a lot of like details were like, oh, is he crying? And it like describing the faceplate and how it's running down the faceplate or the pressure inside the. We got an idea.
Good.
This is a very alien creature to what humans are. What is Molly doing on the side? She's sketching.
I am sketching.
It felt just like a natural sentence to me. This is pretty standard prose for the most part, and so is a phrase that feels pretty much like directed part of a speech. So is like a tonal thing for me. Yeah, no, I totally get you, Mupa. Why is she running at like 4 minutes? She's on her phone. She's on her phone.
I'm sorry.
Technical issues.
When I'm kind of moving back and forth a lot, I tend to be forgetful, which I think applies to a lot of people. As long as my audio comes in good, I really don't.
Well, speaking of Mupa in the chat, let's move on to hers.
Okay. We'll put aside Salamance for now. 16 writing prompt.od, which I think is a beautiful title.
Huh.
All right. Let's see, just making sure I have the right one up. Elle crawled along the pipes within the hood of the car. It smelled tasty, like gas. The metal made a funny noise as it scratched down his back, wriggled his antenna. Nearby, Daddy paused his work to tap Elle on the head with an index finger. Elle beat. Daddy's hands were covered in oil, and he'd smudged some on Elle's head, a coat of paint. Daddy was working with a wrench and screwdriver, a singy, between his lips. Sure, that's a tool. It was just them in the garage, so Daddy had given Elle special permission to wander around and explore. Elle grabbed at the cap of some of the pipe with his forelegs, buzzing as he tried to twist. Daddy picked Elle up around the middle and moved to part of the engine, where he found more rainbow wires to crawl beneath. The clanging door opened, and heavy footsteps echoed. Elle paused. Daddy always warned him, careful not to let other people see him. He said Elle would scare those people. Based on their voices as they talked, they hadn't noticed him. Holding in a cheerful beat, he crawled deeper down the wires until he popped out on the undercarriage of the car. Daddy's business talks always made Elle's head hurt, much like how it made his ears hurt when Daddy had to work in the field, but the garage was nice and quiet. The men's voices echoed like melodies. Elle crawled upside down, waddling in the shadow. The car was resting on the raised service platform. Hover pads of dark aqua, like shiny rocks. They smelled like strange places in asphalt. Stretching out his forelegs, Elle reached the ground by tumbling. There wasn't a pause in the conversation. After some rocking, he rolled himself right side up again. Giving himself a wiggle and flexing his wings, he marched forth to somewhere. Flopping footsteps shook the ground a little, and the other men were gone. Daddy bent over the hood space. Elle? You there, buddy? Elpidius? Elle grabbed onto the side of Daddy and started. After digging around, Daddy noticed Elle when he tapped on her. There you are, you little goof. Elle beeped as he.
Aw, so it's
that's short and sweet.
Cute little.
It was really cute.
Yeah.
Like a little is he like a little insect robot or?
Yeah, I'm wondering that myself. Like, I'm trying to get a picture of what this thing looks like. I imagine it's like some kind of like little robot cockroach.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Because I was getting like I was kind of getting a little bit of Wall-E flashbacks here.
Yeah, it was really cute.
So once again, the day is saved thanks to the Powerpuff Girls. Yeah, that's a good use of "and so." And so the day was ruined, thanks once again to the CW picking up the Powerpuff Girls.
Ugh.
God.
You could have ended that at the CW.
Did you see that they released promo images of like a new character on the Flash and how bad that looked?
No.
They showed off the character of Impulse, who I believe is like the twin brother of he's the son of Barry Allen of the Flash. He's the son of the Flash, and twin brother. You know, he's a twin sister. And it's so like the photoshopping looks so bad. I cannot describe it. I'll see if I can find it and message it to you. Before.
Okay, so he is the robot beep. and intentionally built to be stupid so he can learn in a slower, more natural way. That's cute. I would love to read more adventures of a little robot being.
All right, look at this. Look at this image. And tell me that isn't horrific.
Looks like a promo from 2000, like before they had good Photoshop.
Yeah, I know. And I can't believe it. Also, I actually hate it so much I'm going to delete it.
The problem is you introduced a family character, a family fan character.
I don't know if it's a fan character. That's a comic character. Which
Really?
I mean,
he's been in the comics?
yeah, I'm pretty sure
I
Impulse
wouldn't
is
know.
a character in the comics. I'm pretty sure. Him and Excel.
Microsoft?
No, sadly not. She has a purple color scheme. I think green would have been a really smart color scheme, but you know.
That would have been really funny.
More people should tune into these streams. They are great. Yes, I also find that we sieve things very well. Please stop talking about Children of Barry Allen. It's giving me major flashbacks to Trash Justice League comic. Don't worry. Actually, do worry. Children of Barry Allen it's a mess. I really like the Flash. I really do. I think he's a very charismatic character. I think he's actually my favorite DC character. But oh my god, there's so much stupidity in the CW, and there's so much stupidity in the comics these days.
I wish I was into comics so I could be more angry at something.
Can I recommend a Ruby Zelda crossover one that's really good called Descendant of Legends? Descendant of Legends AO3. This is Descendants of the Champions.
Maybe it's on Wattpad or...
Ruby. Crossover. It's on fanfiction.net. He was always inspired by myths. Oh, okay. It has a big John Arc symbol in there. Which means I'm going to automatically say no. Fics centered around John are terrible. Dead stop.
Facts. I think they can be good. It's just the type of people who write them.
Yeah. And
John is totally like me. I am also very underachieved. And I want to be better magically and get all the women.
Baron Allen. What are you thinking of new Ruby Chibi? I never watched original Ruby Chibi. I don't care about Ruby Chibi. At all. Like...
I watched like 3 episodes of it, and they just couldn't stop explaining the jokes. And I can't deal with that.
Yeah, and that carries over because Eddie Rivas wrote that. Anyway,
they just like let the jokes play out like way too long, and it's like my favorite is when Ruby's in the trash can and it's labeled trash. Like I've never seen a trash.
I mean that's gone on to be a meme. And frankly, actually, I don't know if that's a ubiquitous version of a trash can. I mean, it's ubiquitous to us in the West, but like, they appeal to a lot of different audiences. I don't know. I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt, but it's not really coming up very strong. John's like me. I also deserve accolades and status without working for it.
Exactly.
So what really sucks about that is that John faked his way into Beacon, and that's like the thing I capitalized on in fixing Ruby. Is just like that still takes effort. That takes conniving and like cunning. Like he still, in a way, earned his way into Beacon by cheating his way into Beacon, and they don't capitalize on that because they never actually explore that idea. All right, so. William Wimser's up next. Our good old Frontier buddy. Very, very good writer, so I'm very excited to see what he's come up with. Although, if I remember correctly, when he messaged me this, he said that he kind of like got to the end of his rope with it. He wasn't super satisfied with it. Westminster Open comes to early and fiery end. The 62nd Annual Westminster Open was forced to postpone its second day of trials following the outbreak of fires on the show floor. Despite extensive fireproofing, including both water sprinklers and CO2 dispensers, the flames quickly spread across the entire floor and throughout the surrounding facility. Emergency services were able to contain the blaze, though several spectators were rushed to the hospital for related injuries. At least one fatality has been reported. While an official investigation is still ongoing into the exact cause, it is believed to have been started by one of the contestants during the fire-breathing portion of the competition. "I suspected something was off the moment it started," said Alistair Kranz, an eyewitness to the event. "Pseudo-dragons aren't like their bigger cousins. Their flames only get about as hot as a blowtorch or a gas range. And you could tell just by looking at it, this one was breathing way too hot." The dragon in question, a French trihorn named Lucy, was unharmed in the blaze. Though new to the international circuit, her owner, James Gregory Irvington, is an infamous character within the sport. He has faced multiple accusations of cheating in 6 international competitions, including the banned practice of amping, which is suspected to have been involved in the incident. It's a terrible practice," said Kranz. "The idea is to inject an oxidant straight into the spark gland so you can get a more even burn. It does horrible things to the throat: infection, scale rot, even backblast in the worst cases. It's banned for a very good reason." Irvington's office had not responded to requests for comment. In a press release, the Westminster Dragon Club stated, "The WDE condemns cheating and unsporting conduct in all of its forms. Our organization is dedicated to the health and well-being of dragons everywhere, and the spirit of fair competition between its members." The Open is scheduled to resume on Monday at a new location. Additional fire suppression measures are expected to be installed ahead of time. I loved that.
That is odd. I love the, you put in, it's short, but you put in so much, lore into this.
You ask yourself, how would a dog show for dragons go? And you're just like, oh yeah, of course something would be lit on fire at some point. I love that, you distinguish, it's not normal dragons, it's pseudo dragons. It's the smaller cousins type deal. That was so
I love that
pleasant.
There's doping, that they have a doping problem in the sport.
And the doping problem has serious consequences. You actually went into oh yeah, there's these reasons, this reason, and they all make logical. Oh, that's great work, William. Great work. I don't know why you were so down on it. At least I think you were the one that was down on this. If not, then I apologize for putting words in your mouth that weren't there. I don't think I strictly followed the prompt. I mean, the prompt is a prompt. It's just there for you to get ideas started and generate it. Ultimately, if it doesn't quite line up with the prompt 100%, that's fine. But you hit the nail on the head of this foreign creature to us, and you've established this whole lore around it in matter of seconds. That's great.
My one tiny nitpick is that if you've ever watched a dog show, the dogs have really convoluted names. I would love to one of those ultra convoluted names, but that's incredibly minor.
I love seeing.
I love the idea of a dragon named Lucy.
Well, maybe it's maybe that it's a shorter version of the name. Well, they would use the full version, wouldn't they? Luciferius.
Yeah, that's what they do. It'll be the dog's name is the dog's name would be Rainbow Godzilla, and they just call it Rainbow.
Master Decoy said, "William, do you dream of the day when someone pronounces your name correctly?" Oh, I've gotten used to it. Do I say Whimser? I mean Whismer. I mean Whismer. I'm so sorry. My brain just...
Sorry, I always think of the Pokemon.
Yeah, at this point, just make that Pokemon your logo. Whimser. It's an unusual one, but
Whismer.
It could Whismer, Whims, whatever. I'm moving on.
It's okay. A lot of people miss.
All right. So you want to take this one from Poncho, I believe. Mephistopheles. Meet our next dragon contestant, Mr. Pickles.
Like I need to hold on. Like agility tips.
Want to bop in for 0.5 seconds to say you guys are awesome and keep up doing your stuff you have fun with. Floof, give that man
Thank
a floof.
you.
Back to Yellowstone. Enjoy Yellowstone. Have a floof.
Oh, I love Yellowstone. Have fun there. So like the champion of like one of the agility champions this year was the Papillon was named like they call it Lark and that's the name it responds to, but the actual name is Airly Songbird and then with like a bunch of like extra titles MXAD MG like to distinguish it.
Okay, dog
call
grooming...
name Prix or Pre. Registered name Blue Moon's Grand Prix Perfect.
Dog names have gotten way out of hand.
Breezy Blues, get this party started.
Gerald the Dragon. German name not immediately obvious is the S is pronounced as a Z. Oh, it's Wismer. Oh, okay. That makes sense. So yeah, that adds up. Es spreche ein bisschen Deutsch. Flufferknuckle. That's a good name. Toothless. Toothless would be a good name. I mean, that's why they named him Toothless in the movies.
A French tryhorn named Lucy.
Yeah, I love it. Like, just you're different breeds. They come from different regions. That's great. Imagine like a French tryhorn looks kind of like a triceratops.
Yeah. I like tricolor rabbits.
Okay.
Enter a dog named Derek.
All right, so you want to take this?
Yeah. The Casidin. Note, I think I went a little overboard trying to come up with my own creature. I'm interested in your advice on how to write a character with long, convoluted dialogues without becoming annoying, as well as how to write comedy straight. I kind of struggled. Also some swearing. Okay, here we go. Two men in prim charcoal suits walked up to each other outside the office conference, nodding in each other's acknowledgement, as is the way. Hey, Liam. Hey, Noah. What are they calling us in for this time? That sensitivity training stuff again. Again? Why? Heard they're hiring new people. Apparently the exotic type. I don't think you can say that. It's fine. You know what I'm talking about. Said Lee. Oh, there should be, said Liam with a dismissive wave of his moving to open the door. Most of the room had already been filled. Liam and Noah hurriedly took the remaining vacant seats near the front next to Mason for marketing, and then they waited. After a few minutes, the door opened behind them, and the creature walked in. The best way to describe it would be a cockroach feeding a centaur. Its body appeared to be sectioned into three portions, two moving along the ground and one end held upright. It stood at about 3 feet tall, its whole body seeming to be 4 or 5 feet. It had two oddly thick appendages attached to each section, each ending in what appeared to be a dark-colored hoof. Large portions of its body were covered in hard, dark brown exoskeleton, under which was what appeared to be glossy black skin. It had no visible head or face, though someone seems to have placed a bright yellow necktie on the top of its torso. The creature scuttled into the room. The front. Okay, that's scuttled into the room to the front of the room. Just say scuttled to the front of the room, or maybe you kind of left one of those in. And simply faced itself towards them. There was a pause. Then, sweet Jesus, fucking hell. Noah, get the buckshot, yelled Liam. We're accountants. Where'd we... I got it, yelled Mason. Already standing and cocking a shotgun. When did he... said Noah, as Mason fired at the creature. The shot seemed to glance off its armor, not even causing it to flinch. The crowd sat, stunned, as their tried-and-true method of conflict resolution has failed them. The creature, however, was now showing movement. Suddenly, an amber-colored gelatinous substance was taking form at top of its torso, forming a smooth bulb-like head about a foot in diameter. The necktie began to dissolve in the strange substance, and a warm glow was being emitted from it. It held up its right hand. The end had split into 4 thick, square-shaped fingers, with 2 in the front and 2 in the back. Strapped to its palm, it had what appeared to be a miniature microphone and speaker. From it, a tiny robotic voice filled the room. Hello to you as well. I am pleased that we can engage in standard greetings. I apologize for my delayed response. My kind is not used to such areas with bright light. Bugman can talk? Said Liam, slack-jawed. Indeed, I am able to speak the way that you do, thanks to wonderful technology known as... However, I am not known as Bugman. In your frequency, I would be known as Navar Game Givyonup Atalana Harmony the 37th. You have the permission to call me George. I am Macacident. I've seen one of yous on the TV. You're one of them mole people we found, said Mason, his finger at George. I apologize. Though our kind does not naturally live underground, we do not have any relation to creatures known as... We are closer in nature to the creatures known as insects, such as those known as beetles. George stood stock still throughout this entire exchange, like some horrifying Buddha, with nothing to indicate that he was the source of the monotone voice. After our species first came into... We have made many strides to integrate into our society. I have been assigned to provide human caseident sensitivity, or should I say, casetivity. At this, George moved his left hand across his torso in mechanical jerky movements, and simply stood still in this pose. He was met once again with deathly silence. I was informed that humans enjoy the turn of phrase known as puns, as a display of levity and witticism. We caseident, however, do not possess such a... As we do not possess the cerebral structures you call the limbic system in order to produce... That does not mean we cannot. And so can you. Is it just me, or does it sound kind of off? Noah whispered to Liam. I have engaged in extensive study of the human language, but I understand I have much yet to learn. I have been told by many other humans overly long and convoluted, so I have made much effort to ensure my speech is concise and understandable. I have achieved what you call a master's degree in the language called English, and of the management of humans as a resource from the University of Central Florida, so you have no need to have concerns about the nature of my qualification. Oh dear Lord, he's gonna be in HR, said Liam, his face twitching into a half-smile. Okay, but how is it talking? Like, at all? Noah sounded puzzled. Who tagged me in the tundra during this stream? Hold on. I have to... Oh! Oh, Moopa drew art of the robot beetle.
Oh! Well, I'll have to look at that one when... Cause I was probably tagged in that too. I'm just... I'll check out my phone.
Anyway. Our kind communicates knowing what is known as ultrasound, produced from the ends of our limbs. This microphone and speaker allows me to receive and comprehend vibrations at other frequencies passing through the atmosphere. We are highly adept at processing and relaying large amounts. As such, in our society, we share any and all information we have gathered to others without delay, which is why I was also very intrigued by the concept known as... I was not aware that withholding useful information from other members of your is a viable survival tool. We have much to learn from your... Oh. I shall now move on to how one should act if one happened to meet a caseident. Firstly, do not panic. Though our digestive opening contains a highly corrosive acid, we are capable of producing what is known as ionizing radiation. We are not a threat to you in any way. Wait, radiation? Secondly, do not be afraid of engaging in conversation. Many of us are willing to learn about human customs, such as getting irrationally angry at minor inconveniences, or murder for one's own gain. Noah opened his mouth to question. I decided against it. And lastly, do not refer to a caseident as a critter, spawn of Satan, giant cockroach-looking motherfucker, or, oh, please, Lord, stay the fuck away from me, you affront to God. as it could be perceived as rude. Fair, I guess, said Noah, while Mason frantically scribbled down notes next to him. And that is all I believe you will need to know. If you have any further questions, I will be present in the office on the opposite end of the second floor to the workers. And with that, George scuttled his way out of the room, once again leaving his audience in stunned silence. I guess you could say, said Noah, turning to Liam, that things are certainly going to get interesting. Liam closed his eyes and let out a deep sigh. He picked up the shotgun from Mason's side and said, God fucking damn it, Noah. That was cute.
Yeah, I don't know how to address, like, I don't know how to deal with this one. Because it kind of...
It's just funny.
Yeah, it's funny. It's a good little comedy sketch, because like, it reminds me a lot of Douglas Adams. Giving me a lot of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy vibes type deal. Like the idea of an alien giving an HR presentation.
Sensitivity training for aliens.
No, we still appreciate the art though, Moopa. That's some cute art as hell. This is like if Kafka were less dark. Yeah, so Douglas Adams, right.
Yeah.
Navar Gome give Yonyup and his brother Navar Gome let's say Udada Un. Let's say Udaun. It is nice. This was a fun little video. The fun little story.
Also, Moopa, it's okay to tag me in the middle of a stream because there's two of us, so we can take those little.
The Irish Rubber, Sir Dr. Raymond of McNeil. I am not a doctor. Nor am I a sir. Also, McNeil has a capital N. Hi, I am William McNaught, Lord of the Westbound of Silastar, the country of the planet known as Altakis, 2 of the Altaka 50 from the scaling Milquetoast Galaxy of the 37th. Or Bill. I love that kind of shit. That's great stuff.
Yeah.
You can call me George.
It's my human name.
Poncho, great work. I adored it. I mean, it's weird because like a lot of that felt pretty clunky, but it worked in its favor in the terms of like the prose. Like a lot of it was just sort of
because I mean
things happen, but it's all about absurd things.
It's going to be clunky. It's this thing that like doesn't know how to communicate with humans.
Well, no, I mean just like oh, Bill and Ted walked into the room. Like it was very flat on the face, but that kind of like it played well with the absurdity of things in the sense of like
it did, and also it played well to the absurdity of like it's an office setting, so everything's really like kind of casual and
I just like the idea that like oh they see this thing and their first reaction, get the shotgun. We have a shotgun? I got it. It's like one of my favorite scenes. Well, not my favorite scenes. It was in John Carpenter's The Thing. It's like Childs rounds the corner. It's like Mac wants the flamethrower. Mac wants the what? You heard me. It's like why do we have a flamethrower in Antarctica?
Gets cold.
Apparently, I think they do for like defrosting pipes or something like that. I don't know. I would if I didn't have a flamethrower in Antarctica because of The Thing, I would have flamethrowers in Antarctica. All right, so final one is.
So that's where Mac wants the flamethrower comes from.
Yes. But yes, here we are on the final submission, which is from Pasteben, who we were the ones that dubbed him that name, and he has stuck to it. He actually changed his name on Twitter to Pasteben, which is, I'm very proud of that. It works very well for you. But he also, it looks like Master Decoy says it's time to kill the mood. Okay, fun.
Oh, no.
Once again, I am hungry. My temper is short, and I type with piercing taps into my cheap text-to-speech device. Eventually, I learn what I need. Directions to the ghetto. To avoid suspicion, I make sure to frame my inquiry in the terms of safety, specifically that I must know where it is to properly avoid it. The only one so far who saw through my ruse mistakenly thought I was looking for entertainment. Disgusting. I disabused him of that notion. Up until now, my questions have only yielded vague descriptions based on relative locations and knowledge of the local area. This time, the passerby tells me specific cross streets and describes what buildings to look for. He has a sympathetic tone, and I notice him glancing at my hand. As he has seen the concentric scar tissue, and I realize he believes that I have previously been victimized by a monster. He probably also assumes that is why I do not talk. To facilitate communication with humans, I have practiced smiling with my eyes, since I must keep my mouth hidden whenever possible. I test it with him, as the electronic voice thanks him flatly. He responds well. Excellent. When I first washed up on shore, I was hungry. My inherently lyrical mind would say I was starved for many things other than food, but I have since crushed that impulse. Fortunately, the mostly human appearance which caused my exile has been a boon in the realm of man. Though the core of the human understands that something is amiss, his survival instincts are too suppressed to realize his mistake. He simply thinks my wide mouth is a genetic quirk, my longer toenails a failure of grooming. Instead of fleeing from me, he pities me. Foolish. Though I will never sing a tenth as sweetly as my mother, my voice is still suffused with magical energy that can bend another to my will. I am incapable of speaking subtly. Even my whispers are too loud for polite conversation, but the waves crashing on nearby rocks provide oral cover. I learn what I can and clothe myself in his garments. I try to satiate myself. Unsatisfactory. Disappointed! Get that meme out there. As I cross over into the slums, I am hungry. I clench my jaws shut with all my might, because I know that my merest groan will roar through the alleys. Though I can't see the buildings that house the monstrous population, I can see the effect it has had on the surrounding cityscape. Its outgrowth is like a corrupting miasma. Seedy establishments cater to the lowest of both species. Monster fuckers, the worthless dregs of humanity, devoid of reason and virtue. Their prostitutes, toothless and hollow, reduced to bestial primal instincts. They have sublimated themselves, and all they have to show for it is the mere subsistence and fleeting indulgence. Finally, I arrive at the center, a sprawling complex that confirms my suspicions. This ghetto is a prison, built half by cheaply constructed tenements, and half by the vacuous and apathetic temperament of its inmates. Perfection. I don't even have to search for an entrance, as the fencing around the complex is more formality. I have my choice of stacked materials or cut holes or loose slats. In the shade of a weathered tent, I find my first wastrel. This burned-out husk of a creature, coiled in her reptilian tail, barely acknowledges my presence with a languid shift of her head. For the first time since I was beaten, and for shaming my mother, I smile with all 96 teeth. I shall never be hungry again. Note to self, don't write anything while reading Watchmen. After typing it up and rereading, I realized that there was a significant amount of Rorschach monologue going on here. I'm also going to make a concerted effort to be more lighthearted next time, because somewhere along the way I lost control of my definitely not this dark originally concept. I wanted to write about the cultural clash between a human and a monster, but I just kept stacking up ways in which it would go wrong until I came up with this depressing prospectus. Anyway, I hope it at least entertained you for a bit. Thanks for reading. I thought it was great.
It was definitely well written. It didn't feel edgy for the sake of edgy. It felt like there was real stuff going on.
Yeah, bro,
You know?
why they gotta call out monster fuckers like that? Because... I've had pronunciation for each of them. You've butchered them all except for William and Bill.
What did we butcher?
William's name, I think. Mr. Simmons. That's actually the reason deciding Dacian pipes. It's actually more realistic than guns ever, than the guns they have. I'm not sure what you guys are talking about.
I think they're still talking about the flamethrower.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. The Cold War, might want to actually have guns down in there just in case for defenses. Rorschach is a Rorschach short stacks. Stop! I can't pronounce that. But this was interesting. I feel like it's a little blunt force trauma with its pros a little bit. But it's a stylistic thing. I don't know if like you could have probably toned things down a little bit, kind of like whittled it away a little bit to make it a little cleaner. But overall, I thought it was really enjoyable. You guys gave us. I love the variety we get from this group. I love the variety we get from all of our submissions because they are just absolutely fantastic. These stories, because what have we gotten? We got a serious war piece of two people bonding over war. You've got a cute little adventure of Robot Bug. You've got the comedic news report of a dragon show. You've got the comedy of a weird bug creature giving an HR talk, and then you've got the horrifying reality of a cannibalistic monster stalking the streets for prey because it's been exiled from where its home is. That's great. That just absolutely great all across the board here, guys. Wonderful job. What should the next prompt be?
Ooh, I don't know, guys. What are you feeling? Sorry if I look distracted. I'm not distracted. I just like to have something to do with my... That's why I tend to be playing with something during...
Yeah, I should not care of you. Gods? Sorry, gotta finish chewing here. But gods? Elaborate. It was a female. I kind of got that implication a little bit. I think you implied it once or twice in there successfully. I just I dedicated myself to a voice and I just ran with it because I didn't know the content. But yeah, it did kind of work. I just watched Trope Talk video on the sins of the father. Maybe something about that. Interesting. Man, I used to like Trope Talks. And I followed their Twitter. I stopped liking Trope Talks.
What happened?
Nothing. It's just like a death by 1,000 cuts personality type deal. They're very haughty in the way how they deliver things. Why not something involving family and wholesomeness for the next prompt? The anime guy suggested
I feel like that's too broad. Maybe.
Huh. A day in the life of a cat. But it's not the kind of cat you're thinking of. That's the prompt. What do you think? I don't know, I feel like
we're gonna get cat girl stuff.
I mean, I'm not opposed to that.
I am.
I did leave a submission in. It's like poetry, but it rhymes maybe too well. Starts with Bully Frog of Broken Dreams.
Bully frog.
Actually, that does give me an idea. Bullies. They're a hot topic right now. As characters. Why not a bully prompt?
We could do that.
Okay, so we have the main focus. It's about the prompt will be about bullying. What should be the sub focus? Because we kind of have like the primary thing you kind of want to nail, and then you have the secondary thing you want to nail. It's a little more specific. How should we like zero that in a little bit? allowed to... shut up, Molly. You're not allowed to read my mind like that. Space travel, Batcat. There. Bullying in the future. How's that for a prompt? Future bullies. That's what I want to see.
That's just Twitter.
Think beyond Twitter. I mean, I think you could do some like you could have like the idea of a bullying never changes. Like you still have the same kind of bullying going on. Oh, John and Cardinal. You could do a John and Cardinal one if you wanted.
I feel like these are going to be depressing. By the way, here's how that salamence turned out.
Goddamn, I'm jealous of your talent.
Thank you. I don't consider this anything that's special, but thank you.
Yeah, I know it doesn't need to be super depressing because, like, I mean, again, like one of the big anime right now is Nagatoro, which is all about like comedic. It's a slapstick comedy romance that just happens to have bullying as the focus. Although that kind of falls away, if I understand. That kind of falls away. But yeah, so let's go with that. Bullying in the future. Give us something interesting. I would love to see that. So next week, let's see. Next week, back to Thursday. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And I mean, regardless, like streams are happening Thursdays and Fridays now at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So just tune in there. It's either going to be Molly or it's going to be Molly, me doing like review stuff. I think next week is going to be either writing or we're going to do Ace Attorney. Which would you prefer?
Well, we've been trying to space out the writing so people have more time. So I guess we're doing Ace Attorney.
Okay.
And I've been doing my solo streams. I did a solo stream on Wednesday at 8. This week or next week, I think I'm going to talk about dogs. We're going to be discussing dogs.
Sounds like a good time. I will. I need to get a link for your channel. Molly Rhyme Master YouTube. My Rhyme Master. Did I subscribe? I should have subscribed. I did subscribe. Good.
Subscribe.
All right. So, no. I need that thing open. That's for fixing Ruby. I need that open. All right. There you go. There's the link to Molly's channel. I'll put that in the description as well. Molly's channel. Okay, and save. Random ass dogs. Continue the Pokemon fic. We're gonna give that a little bit of space. So what I think is gonna happen is we're gonna have a 3-week rotation type deal, where it's gonna go Ace Attorney, we write, then we get your guys' prompts in. So we gave you guys a lot of time to work with your prompts. And then Ace Attorney, we write, you write. Ace Attorney, we write, you write. And that kind of cycle will be going on. And the other day of the week that I stream, I'll be doing some kind of game. Typically, I'm going to be trying to finish up Resident Evil 8 as fast as possible, honestly. But after that, we'll figure out what we want to play. Oh, that would be cool. The bully can see the future, but as he progresses, look, take an idea and run with it. That's an interesting. I just said, bullying and future. That's the two cruxes of the idea. Run with whatever you think that means. But yes. So, with all that said, thank you all so much for watching. Remember that by donating $1 or more to my Patreon, you get access to the Team Frostbite Discord server, where I, Fatman Falling, Molly here, are regularly active. Molly will yell at you. It is fun, sometimes. Yeah. Remember that tonight, every Friday night at around 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is Bad Fanfiction Night, where we read bad fanfiction chapters of bad fanfiction out loud. Me and Nakago usually host that, and it's a whole lot of fun. Typically lasts about an hour or two. Tonight we're continuing on Face the Strange, which is a fic that's so notoriously bad there is active debate whether or not it's an actual troll fic or not. And it is transcendently bad. It is transcendently bad. Like, it's literally the first 2 chapters introduce us to Hogwarts, but there's also Sonic characters running around at the same time, and all of them are in love with the main character.
Yeah, that checks out.
It's great. It's great.
That checks out.
I love it. So yes, thank you all so much for watching, and we'll catch you all on the flip side.
Bye.